Blue!
Today's event was a martial arts combined with firearms defensive tactics, all blended together, so we called it a defensive tactics camp.
Here, it's teaching citizens firearms and combatives, fighting, how to defend yourselves. If you look at the title of the classes, they're how to defend yourself from an attacker. There's one given by a very tiny woman who helping other people understand it doesn't matter about your size, you can still protect yourself. And it's the same thing with firearms. The course I just taught, a lot of beginners were in this class, and it felt really good to teach these people how to properly handle that equipment to protect themselves.
I know what it's like to feel helpless. I know what it's like to suddenly find yourself in a moment where you never thought you would be there. You think it just happens to other people, and you're like, in a split second, things can change. In a split second, you can lose your sense of safety. Your life can just turn upside down. And so people taught me when I needed to be taught. That empowerment changed every aspect of my life, because I see it as more than just, okay, I'm gonna teach you a set of techniques. It's way beyond that. I want to teach you to believe in yourself, that you have the ability and the right to protect yourself and the right to fight back. I just think about people who must live with guilt if they didn't know what to do to help a loved one and couldn't. So those things keep me up at night. And so I'm like, anything I can do to help, you know, good people want to do the right thing.
I'm not teaching people to be offensive in operations like I was in the Marine Corps. I'm teaching people to have the right of self-defense that we do have in this country. And I want people to take that back home to their communities.
And threat, slow draw, slow, watch your barrel, engage 3 rounds.
You know, anything can happen on the street. I mean, you could be walking down the street and somebody could pull a knife or a gun on you at any time. And what was taught here today is learning how to defend against both weapons. And so that's pretty much what we did today. In the shooting part, we learned how to shoot getting out of a vehicle. We learned how to, shoot with a cover and conceal, mostly cover, in case somebody's shooting back at you. And we learned how to transition from one weapon to another, going from a rifle to a pistol and things of that nature.
So the idea for a camp like this is not to learn all these great skills, great techniques. It's to get like a little sample. It's like going to Sam's Club. You get that little sample of that item, that food, and you're like, oh, wow, that was great. And then the whole box is right there in front of you. So they got a 90-minute sample of this martial arts school and some of the stuff they teach and their style.
We'll eventually get there, but we're going to start off kind of slow.
Some folks, I have 6 hours of training that I can provide people for in-service credits.
Red 1! Reload. Tell them, reload it, tell them.
Reload.
Are you on to 2? Hurry up. Oh my God, get in the fight!
A sample of everybody, and just see if you want to continue moving from there and making it more part of your life.
Anytime you reinforce the fundamentals of marksmanship and the application of speed with those fundamentals, that is effective training in and of itself. It's sustainment, if nothing else. Specifically today, working from a vehicle, there has been more than one occasion in which people have been trapped in crowds, ambushed. There is an assortment of scenarios in which being in a vehicle in a shootout is just about the worst possible situation. And prior to today, I had no training on that. I now feel much more equipped that in a public place, I would be better suited to get off the X, engage the target, get to safety.
The average person taking away something from here would be, hey, I met some new people. I had a lot of fun. I learned some things that I've never even thought about before. A lot of folks even ones that were out here, a lot of them came out here and said, I've never had the environment to training like this. So the average person took out an amazing experience, an amazing facility to train on, and an amazing flat range for live fire that most people will never even get to be part of in their life.
People have to depend upon themselves more than they could depend upon their government to protect them. And this is kind of teaching some of that to help out the rest of society. And Philadelphia area is a great example. There's several cities in America where crime has just gone out of control because the government has failed to protect them. So if that's the case, then you need to start protecting yourself. And I've always been able to protect myself. Why can't I take that and teach others how to protect themselves?
This whole program, this whole thing that I created with Lead Tactics is all about creating, like I said, leadership, but adding it with crisis readiness.
Right, blue!
It's my whole mindset for what I'm looking for is creating that less fear, more courage perspective, and helps people feel more comfortable when they're out in town, or they're out in their community, in their schools. And it can help us learn from each other. Because we had so many different professionals here today, representing so many different organizations. Some were just law enforcement retired, some were first responders retired, some were military retired, military veterans, current military. We had some current law enforcement. We had some that are just civilians that are martial art enthusiasts, that have been training martial arts for years. Some that were brand new at anything training, but they came out and they were able to work with folks, and everyone left here better than they came here. How long do you want to live? Most people want to keep living. So it supports that livelihood that this great earth provides us. And it gives us that tool in our tool belt to say, hey, it might not work out this exact scenario that I trained to, but that gave me some kind of default and time on the saddle to say when I'm in a high stress situation, I now have a different perspective to bring to it because, oh, I felt this before, or I've been through this kind of movement before or scenario. And I'll be honest with you right now, I don't want anyone that trains here to be in a high threat, deadly situation. I want them to try to get away from it if they can. But if you cannot, we do have a right of self-defense, and that's important in this country. I've seen some of the worst of combat in the entire post-9/11 generation. And I'm telling you right now, there is no perfect answer to an imperfect moment. And if you are in a highly stressful life or death situation and you have fear of death or great bodily harm, you want to have more options than less. And your default in those stressful moments will be your level of training or your lack of training.
Choose to be the one you can come to. I'll hold you if need be. I'm here. Do you feel secure?